71 million Americans depend on Social Security, and right now, almost every single one of them is being told a lie. Not a small lie, not a technical misunderstanding. A fundamental lie about whether their retirement income is safe, how much they'll actually receive, and what's quietly happening behind the scenes in Washington right now. Here's the thing, there are actually two lies, and they come from opposite directions. One side says Social Security is going bankrupt, that the money is gone, that you'll never see a dime. The other side says everything is fine, that the program is rock solid, that nothing needs to change. Both of those are wrong. And if you're planning your retirement based on either one, you are making a serious financial mistake. Today, we're going to walk through what's actually happening to Social Security in plain language. No spin, no politics, just the numbers, the timeline, and exactly what you need to do about it before it's too late. Let's start with the lie that scares people the most. Social Security is not going bankrupt. It's not going to zero. It's not disappearing. Even if Congress does absolutely nothing, not a single vote, not one reform, not one new law, Social Security will still exist. It will still send checks. The payroll taxes that fund the program come in every single pay period from roughly 185 million working Americans. That revenue stream doesn't stop. What does stop is the trust fund, the reserve account that supplements those payroll taxes when they aren't enough to cover full benefits. And this is where the real story gets uncomfortable. The Social Security Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund is projected to run dry in 2032. That's not a guess. That's not a political talking point. That comes directly from the Congressional Budget Office and the Social Security Administration's own actuaries. In 2032, the trust fund hits zero, and when it does, Social Security is legally prohibited from paying out more than it collects in revenue. That means automatic, across-the-board benefit cuts for every single person receiving a check. How big are those cuts? The Congressional Budget Office modeled an illustrative scenario. In the first year after depletion, benefits would drop by roughly 7%. By 2033 through 2036, the average annual cut deepens to approximately 28%. Let's put a face on that number. The average Social Security retirement benefit in 2026 is $2,071 per month. A 28% cut takes $580 off that check every single month. That's nearly $7,000 per year. Gone. For a retiree living on a fixed income, that's the difference between independence and crisis. So no, Social Security isn't going bankrupt. But if Congress doesn't act, it is heading for a benefit cliff that will hit every single recipient, regardless of age, income, or how long they've been paying in. That's the first lie dismantled. Now let's talk about the second one. The people who tell you Social Security is perfectly fine aren't reading the math. The program hasn't had a comprehensive overhaul since 1983. Back then, there were more than 5 workers paying into the system for every one person collecting benefits. Today, that ratio has dropped below 3 to 1. By the middle of the century, it will fall below 2.5 to 1. Meanwhile, the country is in the middle of what demographers call peak 65. The period from 2024 to 2027, where more than 4 million Americans are turning 65 every single year. It's the largest surge of retirements in the nation's history. More people collecting, fewer people paying in. The math doesn't balance. The trust fund currently holds about $2.2 trillion, but it's running a deficit every year, spending more in benefits than it takes in from taxes. That deficit is projected to grow from over $200 billion this year to more than $500 billion by 2032. Something has to give. Either taxes go up, benefits get restructured, or both. The question isn't whether reform is coming. The question is whether it comes before the cliff or after. And that uncertainty is exactly why you need to stop treating Social Security as a guarantee and start treating it as one piece of a plan. Which brings us to the decision that most Americans get wrong: when to claim. This is where the rubber meets the road. Because no matter what Congress does about the trust fund, your personal claiming strategy is the single biggest lever you control over how much Social Security income you'll receive for the rest of your life. You can start collecting as early as age 62. Your full retirement age for anyone born in 1960 or later is 67, and you can delay as late as 70. Here's what most people don't realize. These aren't just different start dates. They are permanently different benefit amounts. Let's use the average benefit at full retirement age, about $2,200 a month. If you claim at 62, that drops to roughly $1,540, a 30% reduction. Permanent for life. If you wait until 70, that same benefit rises to approximately $2,728. That's a 24% increase over the full retirement amount. The monthly gap between claiming at 62 versus 70 is over $1,100 per month. That's more than $13,000 per year, every year, for the rest of your life. And yet, nearly half of Americans still claim early. There are valid reasons to claim at 62. Health problems, job loss, immediate financial need. No one should suffer to delay a benefit they've earned. But too many people claim early for the wrong reason. They're afraid Social Security won't be there later. That fear is based on the first lie we just debunked. The program isn't disappearing. Even after the trust fund runs out, incoming payroll taxes would still cover roughly 70 to 80% of scheduled benefits. Claiming early locks in the lowest possible payment permanently, out of fear of a scenario that won't actually happen. The break-even age, the point where total lifetime payments from waiting until 70 surpass the cumulative payments from claiming at 62, falls in your early 80s. The average 62-year-old today lives to about 84 if male, 87 if female. Both are past the break-even. For most people, patience pays significantly. Now let's talk about the trap that almost nobody warns you about until it's too late. Taxes on your Social Security benefits. Most Americans assume their Social Security income is tax-free. It's not. If your combined income, that's your adjusted gross income, plus non-taxable interest, plus half of your Social Security benefits, exceeds $25,000 as an individual or $32,000 as a married couple, up to 50% of your Social Security becomes taxable. Cross $34,000 as an individual or $44,000 as a couple, and up to 85% of your benefit is taxable. Those thresholds haven't been updated since 1993. They were never indexed for inflation. 30 years ago, they caught a small percentage of retirees. Today, they catch the majority. Here's what that looks like in practice. Say you're receiving $24,000 in Social Security, pulling $30,000 from a traditional IRA, and earning $5,000 in interest. Your combined income is $47,000. That pushes 85% of your Social Security into your taxable income. Your effective tax rate on that Social Security income might be 15, even 22%. And when your required minimum distributions kick in during your 70s, the tax bill climbs higher, sometimes dramatically. This is the tax torpedo, and it catches retirees off guard every year. The fix exists, but it requires planning years in advance. Strategic Roth conversions before you claim Social Security, drawing down tax-deferred accounts during low-income years in your early 60s, timing your IRA withdrawals to stay below the income thresholds that trigger benefit taxation. These aren't exotic strategies, they're basic retirement tax planning. But most people don't do them because most people don't know the trap exists until they're already in it. And here's the part that ties everything together. In 2026, there's a new tool in your pocket. The One Big Beautiful Bill Act introduced a temporary 4-year deduction of $6,000 per person for anyone 65 or older. If you're married and both qualify, that's $12,000 off your taxable income through 2028. This is a short window, and it can meaningfully reduce the tax bite on your Social Security and retirement income, but only if you act before it expires. So here's what I want you to take away from this video. Social Security is not going bankrupt, but it is heading toward a real benefit cut if Congress doesn't act before 2032. Anyone who tells you it's perfectly fine is also wrong. The demographics and the deficit are undeniable. Your claiming age is the most powerful financial lever you have. Claiming at 62 could cost you hundreds of thousands of dollars in lifetime income compared to waiting. Don't make that decision based on fear. Your Social Security income is probably going to be taxed, and the thresholds that determine how much are 3 decades old. If you're not planning for the tax torpedo, it will find you. The worst thing you can do is nothing. The second worst thing is panic. The best thing you can do is run your own numbers. Log into My Social Security at ssa.gov. Look at your estimated benefits at 62, 67, and 70. Then sit down, by yourself or with a fee-only financial advisor, and build a real plan. Social Security was never supposed to be your entire retirement, but for most Americans, it's the foundation, and foundations need to be maintained. In our next video, we're breaking down the 5 biggest Medicare mistakes that cost retirees thousands every year, and most of them happen before you even sign up. If you don't want to miss that, subscribe now. And if you've already claimed Social Security, early, late, or right on time, drop a comment. Tell us what you wish you'd known before you filed. Your experience might save someone else a fortune. We'll see you in the next one. The Social Security Old Age and Survivors Insurance Trust Fund is projected to run dry in 2032. When it does, Social Security is legally prohibited from paying out more than it collects in revenue. That comes directly from the Congressional Budget Office and the Social Security Administration's own actuaries. When to claim? This is where the rubber meets the road. Because no matter what Congress does about the trust fund, your personal claiming strategy is the single biggest lever you control over how much Social Security income you'll receive for the rest of your life.